name's Chris Luckey, and this is my story. It probably started in elementary school when my friends would come over and they would kind of start it with saying, hey, well, so-and-so was busy, so you were like the backup friend. And it kind of started me thinking, okay, I'm the backup friend. And I think it affected how I looked at myself. If you asked me how I truly felt about myself, it would probably mimic what a clinically depressed person would say. And that continued for up until high school. I spent the rest of high school
just being really depressed and angry about what I felt about myself and how I felt about the world. And I was just so sick of everything. Sick of not feeling good enough, sick of not being good enough at anything. And I grabbed a knife and I was ready to hurt myself. I don't know if it would have resulted in my life ending, but it was definitely going to hurt me in some way to physically reflect how I was feeling. And as I held it in my hand, shaking, getting ready to press it against my skin, I heard this audible no surround me and the house shook. At that point, I dropped the knife and I just cried. Growing up, I went to church every Sunday, but I didn't have a relationship with God or Jesus or the Holy Spirit.
Eventually, I figured out a way to put on a good face for everyone. So even though I had all the same feelings, I didn't show anything. From there, I just kind of lived my life for momentary pleasure, things that, in a few minutes would make me a little bit happy, but leave me empty afterwards.
When I graduated, I started getting this idea that I should be going to church again.
And there was a sermon that we went to one Sunday about your worth in Jesus and how His dying for you means you're worth something. And that started something in me. I think the Holy Spirit started moving. And there was this guy named Bobby. He started crying near me and no one else was around him. I felt the Holy Spirit just kind of prod me and say, hey, Chris, go pray with Bobby. And so I did, and it was one of the most surreal experiences I'd had because as I'm praying with him, I feel this intense warmth move down the arm and through the hand that I had on his shoulder. He prayed for me, and that was probably a day that changed something inside me. I started fighting back against the thoughts that I'm not worth anything. I started taking a real look at how I was living my life. From there, I just worked on myself for a while. Still didn't live perfect life, but I knew at that point that that was okay. It was okay to not be perfect. It didn't mean that I wasn't worth anything. I know that Jesus and the Holy Spirit and that God called me, and because of that, I am good enough, regardless of what I do in this world. And that's been amazing. And I started coming to Mercy Hill. And after meeting my now wife, Rachel, it's been a huge improvement in my life. Rachel's been amazing as a support system and just really building me up every day. And Mercy Hill just continues to provide me different opportunities to speak into kids' lives because I remember vividly how much it sucked being a teenager. Teenagers are literally the worst to each other. And if I can share my story and someone's going through a similar situation and can talk with me, then maybe that's why I went through everything that I did.